you want to be able to build an AFK-able, looting 3-sword capable witch farm, well, that's exactly what we're going to go ahead and build in today's episode. So let's go ahead and get into the material list that you guys will need in order to build this specific farm. Now, also keep in mind that if you guys want to be able to download this world or even download this schematic, that will be available on my website, which is gamercorey.com, and that link will be down in the description. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started right now. Now, this is everything on the material list that you guys will need in order to build exactly what we built here in today's episode. So go ahead and write it down, take a screenshot, or like I said, you guys can download the map or the schematic from my website, which is gamercorey.com. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the build right now. Now, once you have found the witch hut that you want to be able to make your witch farm from, I definitely recommend that you guys grab a couple of temporary blocks. So we're just going to use some wool so you guys can see what we're doing here. And you're going to come off the front of the witch hut. So we're going to come out one off of the fence there, and then out one. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side, but out the other way. Go ahead and remove those. And now you're going to do the same thing on the back at the exact same height. We're going to go right there. And it should be right in line with the roof, and that should be the same thing on this side right here. Now you're going to be putting another temporary block on the roof there, and it's going to basically go up and down by one here. And so it's going to be right there. So there's going to be a two gap, and then you're going to do the same thing on this side. Come up by 2. Make sure that there's a space of 2, I should say. And then you're going to come down below. And this one's actually going to, in this case, is going to be in the water. And then right there. Then we're going to come out right there. And the last one is going to go right there. Now, at this point in time, we can actually go ahead and destroy the entire witch hut. Now that you've actually gone ahead and removed the entire witch hut, whatever is the longer side, you're actually going to extend that out by 1. So we're going to do that here on the bottom quickly first. And just like that. And then we're going to fill in the rest of it like so. So this is what your platform should look like when it's done. It should be 8 long and then by 9 wide. And then what we're going to do right here is we're going to basically come out off of that temporary block right there. And we're going to go ahead and basically surround it on both sides. I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. And then on whatever side you want to, you're going to basically, with the side that you extended, you're going to put another row around the back here. Just like that. And then you're going to grab your trapdoors, and you're going to go ahead and put them down and then flip them up all the way across. And then you're going to grab your buckets of water and go ahead and put them in every other. All right, so now that we actually got that finalized, we're going to go ahead and put a block across the entire water that we just got done placing down for the trapdoors. And then what we need to do is a temporary block and then go out one. This is where our tripwire hooks are going to go ahead and go. And we're going to go right to there. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Then you're going to grab your tripwire hooks and place those. And you should have 7 of them total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on one side, and then 7 on the other side. And then you're going to fill that all with strings. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Now that you have your entire first layer done on either side, it doesn't matter which side you do it on, you're going to grab your redstone dust and you're going to go across the top of the tripwire hooks, extend it by 1 right there. You're going to grab your redstone torch, and then you're going to grab your redstone dust again, and you're actually going to go across the bottom of the trap wires, or the tripwires there. So we got them there. And it only needs to go as far as the last trap door. Now, anywhere that you stand in here, those will actually go ahead and open, and it's going to push the mobs all the way basically to the end right here. And then as soon as they get to the end and fall off, that will stop, and then a new batch of witches can actually go ahead and spawn in their spot. Now we just need to repeat this 2 more times, so I'm actually going to go ahead and do that right now. Now that you have all of your redstone, your string, your trapdoors, your tripwire hooks all in the right spot, this is actually what it should look like. Now, there are a couple of spawnable spots that you guys will have to take care of. You guys can either fill these in with blocks, or what you can do is you guys can either put buttons or slabs. Basically, whatever you guys would really prefer so that nothing actually spawns in these areas right here. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Otherwise, the only thing that we actually really have to do for this part is to build a roof. But we're actually going to keep that open for the time being. Now, what you're going to want to do is at the very bottom here, you're going to come out and skip by 1. So that way, this is where your witches and mobs will fall into. Every once in a while, you do get another mob that will spawn in the side of this area. So just keep that in mind. And it's mostly due because the witches technically should only spawn inside of the witch hut itself. So we created a couple extra spawning spaces at the back there and on the sides in order for the water to actually flow fully. And we're actually using a couple additional spawning spaces that aren't always just for witches. So there is always that to keep in mind. Now, if they spawn in everything else that's technically inside of those green borders, like on the top here, you can clearly see it here. So it's these 5 blocks and then these 7 blocks. That's actually the only spot that the witches can farm. And that's why you're actually going to get other mobs from time to time. So just keep that in mind. It's not a flaw. It does happen. So be aware of that. Now at the very bottom here, this is going to take a little bit of work, especially if you're in water. You're going to want to go down at least 2. And in this case, we're just going to come down like that. And then we're going to build this all the way out. And then we have to drain the water inside of it as well. So then when that is done, we would basically break these 2 blocks and then go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and figure that and finish that right now. All right, so this is what it should look like at this point in time. So you're going to grab your buckets of water again, place one there, and place one right there. And in the very middle, where it's actually pushing out to, you're going to basically be destroying these blocks that we just got done placing in the very center. And we're going to come out a couple, and then we're going to go ahead and drain the water inside of that area as well. So this is what it should look like, and that last block should not be filled up here. Now, if you guys are in water, you're going to want to actually put another set of blocks here in the back. I'm going to explain that here in just a little bit. But this is what you guys are going to need to do. The other thing that you're going to want to do is go down just a little bit further because we need to dig down just by 1 because we're going to be putting in a wall here. And let's go underneath here and do this right below here, and we're just going to do it all along the very back. All right, perfect. So this is where you want the soul sand to go. So right here, we're going to knock that out, and we're also going to knock that one right there. And then this one needs to be a, right here, it needs to be a wall of any choice. It doesn't matter which wall you guys use. It could be a cobblestone wall. It could be whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then what's going to happen is the witches are going to come around here. They're going to kind of flow down, and then they're going to come up here, and then they're going to go across the top of the wall, and then they're going to kind of slide into this place right here. Now you're going to go ahead and grab yourselves a couple signs. These are the only signs that you guys will need in the entire build. So we're going to place one right there, and we're also going to place one if it decides. Wow, okay, that kind of aired up on me for a second there. That was interesting. We got a sign here, and we got a sign here. And then you're going to fill this water here, and then this water there. And then you're going to break that bottom block right there. That's why you want this one to be a non-water piece, because what's going to happen is it's going to allow it to flow. And it's actually going to push the mob up onto the slab, and then up onto the soul sand, and then all the way over. And then this is what's going to lift your mobs all the way up to the top where you're going to be AFKing. So now at this point in time, you're going to want to replace that one with the soul sand. So let's go ahead and grab our soul sand. And then you're going to go ahead and surround at least the 4 sides that you need there. And then you can put the wall there. And then these are the only ones that you guys are going to need to be building up all the way up to the top. Now, I do recommend that at least at this point in time that you build your solid blocks up to the top of the farm, which should be right there. And then at that point, you're going to be building glass all the way up to the very top. And whatever level your wall here is at, so in this case we're at level 60, you're going to want to go up about 128 blocks. 128 blocks is the best opportunity, so then we add that to it. So we're going to be going up to a level 188, and I'm going to do that right now. Now that you're at level 188 from the water level down below, you're going to want to break that glass on the very top there going towards the farm. And you're going to replace that with either packed ice or blue ice. Either one will work. And you're going to do that with 7 of them. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you're going to surround this with an additional 2 more pieces of glass on the top of it, making sure that the witches will actually funnel down this ice right here. So do that. And then you're going to put a roof on the top of it all the way to the very end, including 1 extra one, because this is where the witches will actually fall into the killing chamber. Now, once you're actually all done with this, you're going to grab your slabs and do 4, or you're going to grab full blocks and do 2. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on a bottom slab right there, and this is actually where your witches will be sitting and standing. And this is the same level that you're actually going to be killing them out at. So we need to extend the glass chamber down all the way for the time being. And we're going to replace part of it here in just a moment. And then the glass that's actually right here in front of you, you need to get a slab basically right at the bottom piece. So ultimately, the slab needs to be right here. So however you need to get that in there is where you need to put it. And that's what you need right there. And then surround this with glass, and then this with glass right there. Perfect. So when you're standing here, you're going to be swinging away, basically swinging here, and then you're going to get the XP coming through the bottom, and then a hopper will actually be down here below. So let's go ahead and finish that now. Now I recommend that you come out with your slabs, just like that, and I recommend 3 on each side. And this is what your platform should look like. So basically it is 7 wide by 5 deep, and right where the last slab is at here, we're actually going to go ahead and put a couple chests in, just like so. And we're going to make that 3 high. You can make this really however big you want, but this is going to give you guys adequate storage just in case you guys are going to be AFKing here for quite some time, like an overnight period. And then behind each of those chests, you're actually going to go ahead and put a line of hoppers going into each of those chests. So do that now. Then you're going to be putting a temporary block basically right here. And you're going to be putting the last hopper going into it and making sure that they are facing into each other, going across like that. And then you're going to put 1 additional one on this side of it here. Now from here, what you want to do is you're going to want to come down a couple more and make sure that it's right below where this hopper is right here. So we need to come right there. And then we're going to be putting droppers facing upwards. Just like that. And then the one at the very bottom, you're going to want to connect in your line of hoppers all the way to where the witches are going to be standing at. So you can just follow this line right there. And then it's going to follow this right here. And then right there is where you guys need to basically have that at. And then all the drops will be picked up by that hopper and then sent into this dropper vader. Let's go ahead and create that dropper vader right now. Now you guys can create whatever system that you want, or you can copy the one that I'm going to be creating right here. Either way will actually work. This is the one that I use a lot in my builds, but you guys can use and build whatever one that you would like. So you're going to be building a platform that looks like that. Then you're going to be putting 2 more right there, or a solid block there. That technically would be a solid block. You're going to be grabbing your comparator, a repeater here, a repeater there, and then you're going to be filling in the rest with the redstone dust. The next thing that you need to do is grab yourself your observers, and you're going to be putting a observer facing towards that, so it's going to detect when that repeater goes off. You're going to be an observer facing that one, and then a observer tower up to basically right there. You're going to put one right above the solid block there, and then skip one, and then right there, and that's all that you need to do. Your build, as far as up here, is all done. Now, I do recommend that you guys go ahead and put a roof above this. So in this case, you guys can go ahead and do glass if you would like. That way you don't have to worry about any phantoms or anything else coming up after you, or anything else spawning up here like any other mobs. So you can do that if you would like to. I'll leave that completely up to you. I'll put it in the build and also in the pieces that are necessary for the build. That way it's also included, so you guys don't have to worry about it not being included in the material list that I'll be providing to you. Now, I've already done it, but you're going to be putting a water bucket right there inside of this. So right on this block right there, it's going to flow to the end of your ice, and it's going to flow all the way down to the bottom. And then we just need to replace it entirely with kelp. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab our kelp right now. And then you're going to basically go all the way up to the top, because that's how you're going to get your witches from the bottom all the way up to the very top. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this right now. And now that you have that all completed, all you have to do is go back up to your AFK platform at the very top of your build. grab yourself your sword, preferably with mending. Make sure that you have looting 3 on here as well. And also make sure that you have sweeping edge. Those are the 3 that I would recommend. And now we just kind of sit back and wait for the witches to start spawning. You can actually see the top of their hats starting to come up right there. They're going to be pushed and funneled into the bottom chamber. And then they're going to be brought up all the way up here to the top. So it's going to take just a little bit for the farm to go ahead and get started. Like I mentioned earlier, every once in a while you get a regular mob that will spawn inside of the witch hut, so just keep that in mind. It does happen from time to time, and every once in a while you guys will lose a couple due to despawning. That does happen just because they can spawn away from you the further away that you are. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating yourself a macro, and you're going to be looking at them. See right here, they can't actually see us even though we're at eye level. Just don't necessarily duck because they will throw some splash potions at you, so just make sure that you stand. And any other mob that's actually in this chamber anyway, whether it be a skeleton or a creeper or whatever else it might be, then they will actually not see you as well. So you can actually go ahead and get all of their loot drops also. And then what you're going to do is just going to go ahead and look down, making sure that you're kind of aiming at the block. Create yourself a macro, which I'm not really going to go over in today's episode. And then just start swinging away. And that's all that we need. And you'll start to hear the clicking behind me, which means that the dropper is actually working just fine. And you can see that in this chest right here, we're going to start getting some of the items that we just got from a few of the witches that were in our chamber. And we already got a couple more popping up here. We got a few more coming into the chamber, and you got a couple more that are down there as well. So it's actually starting to work pretty good. And then, yeah, you just start swinging away and AFK here for as long as you want. The nice thing I do like about this is that when you put yourself into survival, you get some decent amount of XP, so you can go ahead and mend all of your tools. And you also get the looting effects. You're actually going to get a lot more drops than by killing them and entity cramming. But anyway, hopefully that does help you guys out. And if it does, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would help me out a lot and is greatly appreciated. But until next time, YouTube, you guys keep doing what you're doing because you're already doing it. And you guys stay gaming.